Hey guys, what is up? This is Meister238 coming at you with a little bit of redstone today, which is a little dangerous because I am mostly well known for my building and tutorials and stuff like that. But I needed some leather, so I created my own automatic farm because when I was scrolling through YouTube, I couldn't find a single fully AFKable redstone leather farm. So I have made this one, which is 100% unique, the very first of its kind, and I'm so excited to show you guys how to build it and how to create it and how it works. Over here, we do have the rates, which is 79 leather per hour, 89 steak per hour. Right here, you can see we got the leather and the steak, which doesn't sound as impressive as a 17,000 gunpowder per hour, but I do promise you guys that this farm works 100%, and getting over a stack of leather per hour is insane amount of resources. It really helps out. For the two farms, I will explain the differences between these two things real quick in just a second actually. But I do want to say that this does work in 1.14.4, it works in 1.15.2, and it works in 1.16 plus as well. In the 1.14.4 version, it's not nearly as efficient as the 1.15.2 and the 1.16, but it still does work pretty darn well. Now, as we get into the differences between these two farms, I will explain how this one works and how this one works, which are basically the exact same, except this one, you need to manually provide your own wheat for the farm. The whole process of feeding the cows and getting the leather and everything like that is still 100% automatic. Whereas this farm, as you can see, we got a little villager in there, and he wants to say hi. But this farm does have its own wheat process right here. You can see we got the seeds in these chests and the wheat in this chest feeding into this dispenser, which I'll explain how that all works eventually, but it does provide its own 100% wheat farm automated system. But I do want to say the one thing about this farm that kind of stinks is that it needs to be in chunks if you want the wheat to provide itself and to be able to automatically stockpile full of wheat. With that said, I will show you guys the materials for this guy and this guy. These farms are basically the same, except this one has the addition of a wheat farm on it. So this materials right here, if we go back, which I had flipped it real quick, we got these materials right here. And then we got these ones as well, which you guys can pause and look at if you need to gather the resources. And then we got this one, which has a little bit more resources that are required to build it, but this one is a lot better in my opinion. And I'll flip back to the beginning. So we got this material right here, we got this one, and then we just got these last few resources right there. And with that said, I hope you guys do like this video. If you do, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But with that said, I think we'll actually jump into building this tutorial now, block by block, and showing you guys exactly how it works along the way. So with that said, let's jump into building our first ever fully automatic AFKable leather farm. Okay, so the very first thing we will be doing is starting off with building this guy right here, and afterwards we will add on the addition of the wheat farm as well above. And we will actually start off by placing a chest right here. We're going to start off by making the kill chamber, and I will say real quick that I might fly in between bases every once in a while, just to make sure I'm doing everything 100% right, because I do want to get this 100% right for you guys. So we have this chest placed right here, and this is going to be where you get all your leather and all your steak eventually. So from there, we will actually get our hoppers out, and we will put 1, 2, 3 right there as well, with trap doors on top on these two back doors, these two hoppers right here. And this is where baby cows will actually sit, and as they grow, they will go into the lava and be killed, and their resources will be gathered into this chest. Now, if we get our glass, and I do want to clarify real quick too as well, that you don't need to use spruce trapdoors or black stained glass. As long as you use glass or trapdoors or any of this sort of material, you should be fine on that part. So with the glass, we will actually add 2 glass right here. We will add 1, 2, 3 right here, 1, 2, 3 right here, 1, 2, 3 right here, as well as on this side right here as well. Before we put the lava in, we should put a sign right here. This is going to be where the baby cows kind of fall in, and then we'll have the lava placed right next to it, which, because of trapdoors and signs and chests, this farm actually will not be burned from the lava, so that is really good news for you guys as well. So the baby cows will fall in here, where they will sit and grow. It takes them 20 minutes to grow, but when they do, all their resources will be put into this chest right here. Now we will get our black stained glass. We will put 3 above this chest right here. We'll actually go up 1, 2 on either side right here, and then we will put another sign, not a trapdoor, but a sign right here, and that's where the little cows will fall in. So what we will do next, if we get our glass out, this is 1, 2, 3 blocks right here, glass, sign, block right here, and we will add 3, or this will be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 overall. So you can see we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, skip a gap, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And with that said, we will actually begin to make it lengthwise as well. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we curve around, we will do the same thing over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We will connect this right here, and you can see we have got the chamber starting a little bit to start to form a little bit, which is always good. Right here over with this block, we will actually get this glass block on the third layer up, and we will go all the way backwards. And the next thing we will do is we will fill up on this layer right here full of black stained glass pane or black stained glass block, or whatever glass you want to use. It doesn't have to be black, but I thought it looked really, really nice in this world. It was a good contrast, so you could actually see what I was doing. So as you can see, we have the beginning of the killing chamber right here starting to form. Next, we will make each of these walls, I believe it is 1, 2, 3, 4 more up high. So I will fast forward through this part so you don't have to see me doing it, but go around all the edges right here, and go over that gap, and go up 4 blocks with each of these. Okay, so we have got the chamber kind of complete, but we need to add the water, as you can see we have over here, and then the little station where the cows will actually be killed themselves. So what we're gonna do, if we get our signs out, doesn't matter if you have spruce sign, you can have any sign you want. We will put a sign right here, and if you shift click and right click each time, we'll just keep going out with the signs all the way over until it goes across this entire chamber. And this way we can get our water and start placing it along the edge right here. And as you can see, these signs stop the water. This is where the cows will actually be funneled into the system, where they will end up being unfortunately slaughtered, getting you leather and steak as well. So we'll have water along each of these edges, funneling them in, and then we'll have just one block of water right here. And as you can see, the cows will get sucked in, moving by the water, and they will be forced down into this chamber, where eventually you will get your resources. Now the next thing we'll do is we will get our black stained glass block out, and these are just temporary blocks right here that I'm placing so that I can find the very center of this farm. As you can see I'm doing, this is a center right here, which is good. We do want the cows to be in the exact center, and you do want to make sure that this level that the cows are sitting in is 1 block above, like so, because if they aren't, the baby cows, when they are being produced, will actually fly out of the farm. You'll see that later on. I'll do a little bit of a demonstration maybe when we're building the farm. So we do want this middle block broken, and we can get rid of these stationary blocks right here that were just temporary. We can actually go ahead, I'm just going to put this red concrete here and make 1 glass block over. This is actually where you'll end up AFKing towards the end of the farm when it's fully complete. But as you can see, we have this nice little platform where the cows will be sitting in. The next thing we want to do is, now that we got this glass right here, we will actually get our trapdoors, and we will put 1 underneath, 1 underneath, 1 underneath. And I just realized you might want to actually put the water in afterwards, just so that you can get these trapdoors in without being sucked into your farm and trying to build it like this the whole time. It might make it a little bit easier. And we'll actually go down 2 blocks with glass block. This glass block right here is temporary. We will put a ladder on this bottom one, because this is where the cows are going to be standing on, so that the grown cows cannot go into the killing chamber, but the baby cows can, due to the fact that we're going to use entity cramming to kind of shoot them out of the farm into this little system where they'll be funneled. So we can go ahead, and once we have this right here, we'll use our water. And the reason I have this temporary glass block right here is because it's very difficult to place water into trapdoors. So using this glass block, we'll actually place the water 1 block above the ladder right here. And this is where the cows will be swimming. As you can see right over here, they are swimming and stuck in that little spot right there. And this is the kind of tricky part, but it's not too bad. We need to break this glass block and replace it with a trapdoor very quickly, just like that, in 1 fluid motion. That way we have all the trapdoors so that the babies can get out, but the grown cows cannot. They are stuck in there permanently, which is good. Now that we have this done, we'll start moving on to some of the more technical parts and the AFK process of the actual farm itself. Now we will go on to the more redstone aspect part of this build and getting the farm constructed and everything. I do want to say right here, you guys probably noticed that I was actually 1 block short, which does not affect the farm at all. This just increases the height so that the cows have a little bit more of a fall. Honestly though, it can honestly be 1 block lower. I would recommend keeping it this height though. This shouldn't affect the farm at all though, and if anything, I actually just save you guys some resources, so you are welcome, because now you don't have to do this whole glass part right here. But with that said, we'll move on to the redstone building, and let's get this done. So if we get the redstone block right, or not redstone, just the red concrete block right here, you can see that I marked this out, and that's because that's where you'll be AFKing. So let's build a little AFK station first. If we put a temporary block right here, we'll go 1 out, 1 over, 1 over, and we'll make that 2 tall. And this is just to create a wall to keep you safe from the phantoms and all the creatures like that. Now we'll go over here and do the same exact thing. We'll put 1, 2, 3, 4 right there, 1 block right here, except this block right here will actually be a little different. This block will be a solid block. And the reason behind that is because redstone, if you were to put this on glass, it does not activate the redstone dust, as you can see, but over here it does. So we do want this block to be solid, because that's how we're actually going to start the machine and trigger it. Then we can go ahead and put some trapdoors right here and here facing inwards like so, just to keep yourself a little secure and snug. If we get our slab, our smooth stone slab, we can put this on the top layer right here. And if we go over here, you guys can see how it actually looks. This would be the little AFKing spot. You would walk in, close this trapdoor, and as you can see, we can feed the cows and we're completely safe from from phantoms, which is always good. Now we'll move on to the redstone aspect, and I will explain after I've built it how it all works. But yeah, with that said, let's start building this. So if we got this one block right here, this one solid block, it doesn't have to be smooth stone, it just has to be a solid block. We'll go out 6 more. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 overall. That's how many blocks we should have. Then we'll actually go 1 block up right here. Then we're going to start going left. We'll go up another block and another block right there, just like that. If we get a redstone dust, we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 redstone dust. We will not put one up here because that is actually where a pressure plate will go. So let's get a wooden pressure plate out real quick. It doesn't have to be spruce, but it does have to be a wooden pressure plate because the other pressure plates, the heavy-weighted pressure plate, the light-weighted pressure plate, and the stone pressure plate all have different kind of redstone signals. At least I think they do. It just has to be a wooden pressure plate though, so make sure you have that. Now we'll get our 1 redstone torch. We'll actually put it on this block right here facing this way. Then on top of that, we will actually put a dropper as well. So if we get a dropper, we'll have the dropper facing towards the pressure plate right here and right above the redstone torch. That is so that when we have items dispensing from this dropper, it won't fall off into the onto the white concrete. And the way we will keep that from happening is we'll actually surround it with glass blocks right here, like so, just these 3 glass blocks, and then these 2 on top as well. And that keeps the item from falling off the platform, which is always good. Now we will place 1 temporary block right here, and then we'll place 1, 2 blocks right here that are solid right in front of the redstone torch. From there, we will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 blocks. And after we place 12 blocks right there, we should see that it lines up perfectly with the lever right here. Now, on top of that, we also do 1 block extending here as well, and I'll show you why in just one moment. But now that we got that done, we can put 2 redstone dust right here. We'll get our redstone comparators, and we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 over. 1, 2, 3, 4 over. Make sure this one is facing forwards and both right sides are facing forwards, and so that you can get this little trail going right here. And then we'll have 3 redstone dust, and you can see all the redstone comparators light up. Now I'm going to go ahead and actually turn this off, which will take just a second because the redstone comparators do make a delayed tick in the redstone source, but you can see it just turned off right there, which is perfect. So now we will get our sticky piston out. So go ahead and get your sticky piston, and we'll also get our observers out as well. If we will put our, we do want to put our sticky piston right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put it right there facing this way. And then we do want an observer in front of that right there facing this way as well. Now, if we go 1 more block out right here, we should have 2 observers facing like this. That way, when we do turn this off, as you can see, this will start a chain right here, a chain between the 2 observers that will continue to dispense items, and we'll have dispense items right above us. But as you can see, this is all working properly. We'll have 2 glass blocks right here, 1 glass block above the observer, and then we'll actually have a solid block behind this observer right here with a dropper underneath. Like so. The dropper should form perfectly right above our little AFK spot 2 blocks above. And that way, when we do flick this on right here, you can hear the dropper. It is dispensing all the items that are in the dropper, which is perfect. That is exactly what we want, and it dispenses it very quickly, which is what we need. Now, on top of that, we will get our hoppers out. So go ahead and get your hoppers out, and you can also get your chest out as well, because that will be needed as well. So there's our hoppers, and there's our chest. So for the hoppers, we will have 1 hopper going into the dropper right here like that. Then we'll have another one going into the solid block just like so. So we got 2 hoppers right there. And then the 3rd hopper will go into this one right here. So just 3 hoppers right there just like that with the chest on top like this. A double chest right there. And the reason we do have a double chest is because that is where all the wheat will go that you will end up storing, as I showed earlier in the video. Now with our glass blocks, we do want to put 2 glass blocks right here above the solid block and the hopper, just to make sure everything is 100% mob proofed and you don't get killed while AFKing in this farm. Now I will go ahead and actually explain how it all works. So what we do when we turn, and actually there's one more thing I have to tell you before we get this on. In this dropper right here, you do need a ton of items, but they need to be useless items, ones that you don't really need, because all these are going to be used for is creating this 5-minute timer, which I'll explain in just one moment. But as you can see, I just filled it with a bunch of granite because granite is kind of useless. I don't use it very often. Honestly, you might even want something a little bit more useless than that, maybe all the seeds you're getting from your farm eventually. But you just need a bunch of items into this, otherwise the farm won't work. And now that we got that, we can explain how it works. So what we do basically is flicking this lever off. What it does is it triggers this redstone torch. When this redstone torch is triggered, this dropper dispenses a pressure plate right here. When the pressure plate is when the pressure plate has an item on it, this keeps the redstone torch out. So it makes it send 1 redstone signal pulse right here, which will have a bunch of items dropped from this dispenser, and then basically the 5-minute timer does all the work from there. What it does is it will drop 1 block right here, one useless item onto this pressure plate, and every time the useless item despawns, because every 5 minutes an item despawns in Minecraft, what will happen is a redstone pulse will go through, it will send these observers colliding into each other, triggering this dropper every 5 minutes. And the reason we have it every 5 minutes is because cows breed every 5 minutes, and the reason we even have this at all is because in our inventory, when we are feeding our cows, we will begin to lose a bunch of wheat, just like this right here. But if we have this little guy right here, what we can do is say we have lost all our wheat to the cows and they have been fed. I'm just throwing that wheat in there just because it needs to be thrown in. It really doesn't, but now if we go in here and we trigger this lever, as you can see, we'll get a bunch more wheat into our slot in our hand. And this will keep us getting wheat every once in a while. As you can see, we got quite a bit, which is supposed to happen. That is good. And now every 5 minutes, this item will despawn, send the redstone pulse through, send this observer colliding with this observer, and give us more wheat in our hands so that we can continue feeding the cows while being AFK. If I were to pick this item up and simulate that the item has been dispensed, or that the item has despawned, you'll see right over here, we've got the wheat dispensing once again. And that is how all that kind of works. But basically, this first part of the farm is actually done. You would just need to store your own wheat in here, but I will continue building the tutorial to show you guys how to get the wheat automated. But with that said, if you want to see how the AFKing station works and everything, because it does work in a particular way, I will be doing that towards the end of the video. So if this is all you want right here, if you just want to put your own wheat in this little chest right here, you can go ahead and do that. This farm is complete, but you do need to stick around to see how I do the AFK. But before we do that, let's jump into building this wheat farm that is automated, that is something that we need to completely make this farm 100% fully automatic. All right, so now we will move on to the more technical part of this tutorial. So what we will do is we will get our chest on and we will put a double chest right here. I'm just using these as temporary blocks. And we will also get a travel chest right over here, which I said that really weird. Travel chest, what the heck is that? So now we got 3 double chests, and what I'm gonna do, this is totally unnecessary, you guys don't have to do this, but it does keep my mind straight, so I'm gonna do it so that I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm just labeling these chests real quick so that I know which ones are which we got seeds in this chest, and wheat in this chest. And now we will build this right over here, which this looks a little complicated, but in all honesty, it's super simple. It's just an item sorter. So the way that we build this item sorter is first we get our hoppers, and we will have one hopper going here, here, and here, just like that. Super simple part. That's the easiest part. It gets a little bit more complex from here. So now what we will do is we'll put some temporary blocks on top like so, and we'll have the hoppers facing into these blocks. You do want to make sure that the hoppers are dispensing this way. We can get rid of the blocks afterwards, but they should be dispensing like this. If they are not, the system will not work. Then we will get our hopper, and we will have one facing in towards the middle, one facing in towards the middle as well from either side. You can see these hoppers right here on the bottom go into the chest. These ones just go into air, which is totally fine. That's how it should be. And then these 2 hoppers, this one goes into the middle and this one goes into the middle. Now we will build the 3rd array of hoppers. So if we put a temporary block right here, we'll just have 2 hoppers going into it just like so, and we'll have 2 hoppers going into it just like so on either side. You can see that this is how the system has been built with the hoppers. If you need to go over that, I did do a little quick, so if you need to rewind, that's totally okay. I totally get that. Now from there, we should have this exact same system set up right over here. We will add the actual item sorters themselves. So if we put 2 blocks here, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 on either of these sides, this is how we're gonna get the redstone blocks to actually sort themselves, the items to sort themselves. We'll put 2 comparators on top, or 3, 1, 2, 3, just like that. 3 comparators on top of each of these little systems. And then we'll make this almost kind of fish shape, I guess is what you could say. So to do that, we place 1 block underneath here, here, and here. And then I'll put a temporary block in the middle right here. And whoops, we do want a block right there. We'll put a temporary block right there. And we want a temporary block right there. As you can see, we've created a little bit of a fish. That's kind of what it looks like. And then we want these 3 blocks in the middle to be hollow, just like that. That's how we get this shape. That's how it looks over here, and that's how it should look over here. Then we will get our redstone repeaters, and we will just put them on this block, facing towards this block. So make sure that the redstone repeater looks like this. If you were to click it, that's what it looks like. We do not want any ticks on the redstone repeater. It should just be like that. So just like so. We want those 3 redstone repeaters. And then the last thing is to put some redstone dust on this part. And I did lie, I did say that was the last part. There is one more part right here. We will have 3 redstone torches underneath this hopper. So that's 1, 2, 3 right there. We should have 2 redstone dust on each of these. And that's how the item sorter should look. And I don't know exactly how these work, but I do know that they do work. And the way that they work is that we do want to put some items in here. This is going to be where it gets a little tricky. But what it basically does is the items come in from top, from the farmer. the farmer will drop either seeds or wheat when he is farming. So the seed and wheat will come in and it will sort itself, the seed into this chest, the wheat into this chest, and the seed from this chest as well. Now, the way we want that to work though, is we do need to do a little bit of a setup. So let's get some seeds. You will need some seeds for this part actually too, which I forgot to put in the materials, but I guess that's something that's kind of just, you need to know. And we also need some wheat, and we will also need some stone. So basically what we want to do right now is in each of these hoppers right here, the one right by the redstone comparator, we will put 4 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can see how they are actually staying right there. That's how they should look. That's how they should behave. Now you do want these blocks to be anything other than wheat and seed, and that way this dispenser, the item sorter will actually work. Now we just need to put, I think it is 19 items inside this dispenser, and 1 should go through. So that way when we put, say, a little bit of seeds right here, we will get some seeds in this chest right down here, which is how it works, and it works perfectly. So just like that. Then in this one, we will want to do the exact same thing. I accidentally put some seeds right there. That wasn't supposed to happen, whoopsie. So what we will do now is in this item right here, this guy right here, we'll actually want to go ahead and put some wheat in. So first we'll put the stone, the 4 stone right there, and then we will put at least 19 wheat in, so that when the wheat comes through and filters, it will go directly into that. So that's perfect. We got some wheat going into here, which if we watch that happen right there, it should go into this chest. And if we get some wheat, what should happen is it should go into this chest right here, which obviously goes into this dropper over here. Whoops. Some old stone that I had in there. So that is good. So the wheat is working, and now we will just set up the system over here as well. So in this hopper right by this comparator, we will put 1, 2, 3, 4 stone, and then we will put at least 19 of the wheat seeds, and just like that, we have got our super sorter system working. So the wheat should all end up in this dropper, which as you can see is happening. We've got the wheat seeds in here and the wheat seeds in here, and that's how that's all supposed to look. And we've got the little setup, which is just 4 stone or just 4 of any block. It doesn't really matter what block, with the 18 wheat seeds, and we should have 1 wheat seed in here, 1 wheat in here, 18 wheat, 18 seeds, and 1 wheat seed in here as well. And that is the super sorter system. Totally sorted. It is. We got that working now, which is always good. So now we can actually move on to building this wheat farm, which I did get this wheat farm from another YouTuber, another Minecraft fellow YouTuber. I will put down the link in the description where he explains exactly how this is made, and it is very genius. I really appreciated watching that video because it really helped me when constructing my own farm. So in order to start this, I did make a few modifications to it, and you will see my modifications as we progress. We do want some redstone blocks, but right here, we will put a smooth stone block here, a smooth stone block here, with a redstone block in the middle like so, and you can see we're just mocking the system right over here. Then we will get our hoppers, and we'll have 1, 2, 3 hoppers over here, and 1, 2, 3 hoppers over here, just like that. And the reason that we have these hoppers here is because unbeknown to the eye, there's actually a minecart hopper right in there traveling around. And what that does is it picks up all the wheat that the villager can't farm. I'll explain that in just a second. But it picks up all the wheat and the wheat seeds and dispenses it into here, which from here, these hoppers actually will go ahead and go into my farm and start sorting themselves. And we do actually want these hoppers to be going straight down just like that. I totally forgot about that, but you do want the hoppers to go straight down into this hopper right there. So now that we got that, we can see that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blocks long. So now we will do the exact same thing, but this way as well. So we got 1 block here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If we go over here, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we'll connect this to create a 9 by 9 square overall. And now you can go ahead and actually just go ahead and fill all this in real quick. Okay, so now that we have got this platform kind of filled up right here, you can see that we have started getting it wrapped around and everything. What we will do is we will put a little corridor around this so that the minecart will stay in. We really only need 1 block here and 1 block, I believe it's here as well, 1 block here or here. But to make it look nice, just the aesthetic and to keep it looking a little bit nicer, I'm actually going to add stone wrapping around this whole thing, and this ensures that nothing goes wrong, but you don't need this many blocks if you don't want to end up using them. But as you can see, I'm just wrapping around with this layer right here. We should have a 9 by 9 grid in the middle right here, and I will actually make this go 1 more layer up. So I will go ahead and do that real quick. So now that we got that done, we will begin to add the, and I just realized as well, we'll actually replace these blocks with redstone blocks. Sorry about that. I totally forgot about that, but these middle blocks do need to be redstone blocks in order to power the powered rails. Which, speaking of which, that's actually the items that we will be getting next, which is powered rails and regular rails right here. This is going to be where the minecart hopper goes around and collects item from the farm. So let's go ahead and set this up before we start building the farm itself, because we don't want to have to be stuck in a 1 block gap trying to put the rails down. That's never fun. So in order to do this, it's actually super simple. We actually just put powered rails going around like so. Actually, you know what? I'll start from this side just to make sure I get it right. So we'll have powered rails going from here, going all the way around. We will have 2 rails right here, and then we'll start wrapping around just like this, going around. We'll have 2 rails right here, start wrapping around, and you'll basically just keep doing this until you get to the very end, because at the very end, you'll just want it to go directly into this power source right here, just like that. But we'll just keep wrapping around, and basically this is so that the minecart hopper, when traveling underneath a farm, will collect every single item, and you won't miss a single item, which is always good. You do not want to miss any wheat or any wheat seeds, and by doing this, we get every little bit of a resource. So now that we got that though, you can see right here, that's exactly what it looks like. This is where the minecart hopper will go, which we can actually go ahead and get right now if I can type. So we want a minecart hopper, and if we place it on this block, you can see that we'll start immediately going around, and this just collects all the items, puts all the items into this sorter, where the sorter gets sorted down here, where the wheat gets into here, and makes it fully automatic. From there, we will get our grass block or dirt block. It really doesn't matter which one you want to do, because it's all going to turn into farmland eventually. And basically, we want to fill in this entire area right here with that block that you choose, either dirt or grass block. Either one works. In the very center, we do want to break this block right here, because that is where the water source is going to be for the whole farm. So what I can actually go ahead and do, and you know what? I'm actually going to, no. Never mind, I changed my mind halfway through the tutorial. Okay, so we'll actually get a slab right here, a bottom half slab, and this is where the water is going to be to fertilize and make sure that the yard is all nice and good and growing well. So if we get some water right here, we can actually go ahead and place it in the middle, and from there you'll want to get your hoe out and begin to make this all farmland as well. So go ahead and do that. Okay, you can see that we have got the farmland laid down, and it is looking very nice, very pretty. Again, I will put the link in the description for the gentleman who created this video, where he describes exactly how it works, and it's a really good video. It really taught me a lot about farming and villagers and whatnot. So I would highly recommend checking it out if you guys want to see how to make an automatic wheat farm. From there though, basically the next thing we will do is we will get our glass blocks, and we will create another corridor that goes up 2 blocks. This is just to keep the villager absolutely safe and inside the farm at all times. But we will go ahead, wrap around, and this lighting source right here isn't actually necessary. You don't really need this, but if you're building this underground, then you do need it. So I'll just go ahead and put it just in case, which is just, you can use glowstone if you would like, or any other lighting source really. Maybe you could even hang up lanterns in the middle just to keep the crops growing and everything. But basically you just want that with the glass blocks right here wrapping around like so on top. So we'll go ahead and do this real quick, wrapping around, and there is that. Now we will get our villager in the middle. So go ahead, and when you breed this villager, you need to make sure that he does not have any food on him, any seeds or anything like that. So I would just recommend getting a brand spanking new villager that doesn't have any trades or anything like that, who was just born recently. Baby born villagers are the best villagers to work with when coming to this farm. But basically what we will do is we will get a composter, and we will make his profession into that of a farmer. So by placing this composter right there, you can see he's got the little hat on. We can go ahead and place a glass block right here in the middle so that he doesn't get up onto it. But now that he's a farmer, he can actually go ahead and begin automating this process, which the only reason we haven't had automatic leather farms in the past is because we didn't have this this ability of these farmers to actually go ahead, whoops, press my numlux button right there. We didn't actually have the ability to have these farmers self-farm, but now we do, so now this is possible. What you want to do now is you want to get wheat out. You want to get 4 stacks at least. You can either wait for him to start farming and doing this all himself, but that does take a little bit longer. If you want immediate results from the farm, you do need 4 stacks of wheat, and you also need some seeds. It doesn't need to be many. I'm just going to give him 2 stacks right there. And again, if you watch the video that I linked down in below, he will go, the gentleman who made the video will go into the description on why we need to do this. But basically, we will give the villager 4 stacks of wheat, which he will go ahead and collect. He'll go, and you can see they're gone. And then we will give him some wheat seeds. And what he should begin doing is he should begin planting these wheat seeds as well. So go ahead and start doing that, buddy, for us. Go ahead and plant some seeds. Okay, we can also help him out if we ever need to as well. We can start planting the seeds ourselves, but the villager will begin doing them eventually as well. But let's go ahead and actually get this farm right here, like this. So just going across, filling in with some seeds. This is one of the more relaxing things about Minecraft, I would have to honestly say, is just placing down some wheat seeds and just doing a little bit of gardening. It's not too bad, not too bad. It's better than having to fend off a bunch of scary mobs and stuff like that. But as you can see, we have got the wheat seeds right there, all filled up and nice and dandy. The last thing we want to do with this farm is we want to coat it with a layer on top. Because if you're building this above ground and lightning strikes down, your villager will turn into a zombie. And I just realized this actually has to be a light block. Sorry about that. But your villager will turn into a zombie villager, and we do not want that to happen. So we're going to build a roof full of half slabs right here. So if I go ahead and fill this command real quick, we got this one over here, and it just has to be any sort of slabs. It doesn't really have to be smooth stone, but I like smooth stone slab the most. And we'll indicate that the type is, let's see right here, the bottom type. There we go. So now that we got that filled up right here, we've got the villager nicely in store right there, nice and safe. What we can go ahead and do is change the random tick speed so that this farm goes really, really quickly. And that should be the farm basically done. Now you can see right over here, this villager is actually going ahead and farming. He picks up the wheat and he replants it. And what this will do is, since the villager has 4 stacks of wheat, he can no longer get more wheat in his inventory, in his system. The wheat is purely going to fall onto the floor and just sit there as the minecart hopper runs around and collects it. Once it collects it, it will also collect some seed as well that the villager may have dropped, and it will begin to be sorted into the system right here, into the wheat system, the wheat right over here and the wheat seeds right over here as well. And it will begin filtering through, because that's what we built right here, is a filter system. And the minecart hopper, when it drives over these hoppers, will begin to put its items into the system where it will all be sorted, and ultimately creating this whole thing into a fully 100% automatic leather farm. From here, that is basically the actual entire farm completed. Again, check out this gentleman's video if you want to, because he gives a great explanation on how this whole farm works and everything. But from there, I will go ahead and explain the very last thing, which is how the AFKing has to be done, and then this tutorial is just about over. Okay, so the very last few final details that we have to cover is how to AFK. You can see I did a little test right there, just to make sure everything is working, and it's all working beautifully. So we have filled up this slot right here with 20 cows, and the easiest way to do that is to actually pillar up these glass blocks and then just drop the cows in there. And you want to make sure that you have only 20, because if you have more, entity cramming will happen and the cows will be killed. So that's just a little side note right there, but I will show you now how to AFK. So when you AFK, you want to make sure that this dispenser is full of wheat along with this hopper, and this hopper should be full most of the way. It doesn't have to be completely full. This just ensures that when you're doing your AFKing session, you have enough wheat to continue feeding the cows. And the way you can get this by happening is if you AFK at this farm right here, the wheat farm, the villager will continue growing, and it will eventually stock up itself. It will take a little bit of time, but it will eventually fill this whole thing. And that's why if you keep this in chunks while you're doing some other building or something right here, the wheat farm will be, it's fully automatic. So it will keep going, and it will keep filling up this chest until you have a decent amount of stock to actually do the AFK and to actually keep feeding the cows. Now the way we AFK is a little unique. I'm going to build a path right here just real quick. What we want to do when we AFK, you always want to have 1 stack of wheat in your inventory at all times. And I'll go into survival mode so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. So now that we got the wheat in our arms, we are ready to go and start AFKing. We will go over here, get into our AFK spot, and we will begin feeding the cows. But every time we feed the cows, we will actually go ahead and feed the cows by going a little closer, and you want to make sure that when you step next to them, you can see already that the cows are starting to get these love hearts, and these baby cows are starting to go out into the farm by popping out. Now, the way we want this farm to function is we actually use your character, which, hello, here I am. We actually use the character as a part of the farm, because we want to have the right-click button on the mouse hold down, or the right-click option in the Minecraft menu held down the entire time. And if we flick the lever, you just want to feed the cows real quick, and to get it started, you will flick this lever right here, and then all of a sudden you'll get the wheat filling up your inventory slot, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want. But the way we do this, the way we keep this right option clicked, there's 2 ways to do it, and this actually requires a little bit of manual labor on your own part in the real world, which I'll show pictures of how to do. So in order to keep the right click of the mouse down, or the right button down, we can either just tape it down, which as I did in this picture right here, we just tape down the right mouse click button, so that way it automatically holds down the mouse button for you, makes this whole farm AFKable. So you can either do that, or there is another way. This is the way that I more commonly do it myself. So what we can do If we go into options and controls, you can see right here we have the jump button, and right here we have the right click button, which is the one you use for the mouse. What I do is I just switch these two. So right here, I click this button, I will switch that to the right button on my mouse, and I will hit this button and I will switch this to the space bar. And basically what that does is it just inverts my space bar and my right click button. So now when I hold down the space bar, what happens is that I'm actually right clicking, and when I right click, I jump. So now that we got these options like that, which again, I'll show you real quick. This is just the jump is the right button on your mouse. So you press this with the left click with the mouse, right click it with the right mouse. And then right here, you just change that to space, which is a use item / place block category right there. So now that we got that though, I will show a picture of what I do right here. I just put a bigger item on the space bar and hold my cursor so that it is feeding the cows. And that way it will continue holding down the right click button or the use item place block option in the menu, and it will keep holding it down permanently. As you can see, I don't even have my hands on the keyboard right now. I just have a bigger object on the space bar, and it is feeding the cows. And every 5 minutes, the cows will be able to be bred again, and you won't have to be there. You'll just have either the right click on the mouse being held by tape, or you'll have the spacebar being held down by a huger item with the option of these controls. Again, jump is right button on the mouse, and use item / place block is space. And again, the way you do that is you just left click this button right here with the mouse, and then you right click it, so that's the right button, and then you use item / place block, and you replace that with a space bar by left clicking it with the mouse and pressing space bar with the actual keyboard itself. I'm going to switch this back now to what it usually is, which the space bar is jump. And now that I got my options back, that actually is the whole AFKing tutorial done. Let me go into creative real quick. So the AFKing process is a little weird, it's a little funky. And when you're done, make sure to always have the lever down, because that turns this machine off and you don't have to worry about anything like that. So the AFKing process is a little bit funky. It actually uses your character as a part of the system, but it works beautifully. And this is the first and fully functional leather farm tutorial. If you guys did like this, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, because it really does help me out. I'm not sure if I'll do more future redstone projects in the build, but it was definitely fun developing this and trying to create it and trying to explain it to you guys. I hope you guys did enjoy it. I hope I explained everything clearly. If you guys have any options about the AFKing or anything at all, comment down below, and I swear I will respond as soon as I can to help you with your questions about this farm, because it is a little complex. But I did show every step pretty thoroughly and explain everything thoroughly. The AFKing process might be the only thing you have questions about, which again, just comment down below if you do. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. And with that said, the very first Leather AFKable farm has been established by YoMikester238. You guys remember that name. And I will see you guys in the next video.